All right, all right. Aloha, welcome back, everybody. Thank you to those who have been following the Roots of Barbering channel here, and welcome to the new folks that are just joining us on this episode. We always appreciate when you folks hit the subscribe button. That always helps us out, and share that. In today's topic, we will be talking about tools of the trade, and tools of the trade as it relates to being a brand new barber or an apprentice, and how much should you really be spending, because there's so many options of tools out there. So without further ado, let me bring on my brother Gio, who's all the way out there in Holland. Come on board.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up,
How you
brother? Yeah,
been?
I didn't
How
even
you
introduce
been?
myself. I just went straight into it. I didn't even say what my name was for those that, for those that
Guys,
if
this
I
is
did it, my
MJ.
name was MJ. So yeah, and that's Gio.
Welcome,
Man,
welcome,
good to see
welcome.
you, brother.
Good
Yeah,
topic. Good topic.
yeah, good topic, huh? I think it's a good topic, man, because I know when I first started, I kind of got overwhelmed by all the resources of tools, and seeing other barbers in the shop, or even in barber college, what they had. And rather than mastering the use of one tool, I was too concentrated on getting multiple of the same thing that all did sort of the same job, and not really knowing how to use any of them, properly. That is. So I think it's good segue into what folks are doing now as they join our channel and start getting into barbering. Some of the stuff that we use.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
want to learn basics first.
yeah,
Buy too expensive stuff.
yeah,
For a beginning, it's just the. I've been, for honesty, I've been rocking my super taper. Well, for kind of like
yeah,
15 years or something. Years.
okay,
Always had the same one.
yeah.
I
That's the clipper, correct?
Yeah,
That's
it's the
the
clipper. Yeah.
fading clipper. Yep, yep.
And before I changed to a different one, I just knew that machine from the inside out. I could screw everything out
Yeah,
of it, and I
yeah, yeah,
can I can fix it myself in 30 seconds.
yeah,
Hey, the
yeah,
sound is not good or anything like that.
yeah,
The same with my scissors. When I was back in school, I had like a micro blade kind of scissor. What has like a blade
yeah.
with little tools in between the blade. But I will show you
Okay,
the next time I will do a tutorial with what kind of
yeah,
shears we all.
yeah.
But I was fortunate, that shop that I worked, that I also had like Japanese scissors, and I was fortunate of that because la there are expensive, man, especially that I
Yeah,
had any
yeah,
brands or
yeah, no,
you know I think like for barbering, especially for a traditional, a lot of grease.
yeah,
Buying a 700-800 euro range scissor is
yeah,
practically for dry work, right?
yeah.
It always has to be sharp and pivot, or
Mm,
pivot point techniques. But for barbering, it's straight in, straight off, right?
yeah.
So
I can already tell as we talk about this topic, because we both have, because of our experience, it's hard to not talk about the tools without talking about the technique, right?
yeah,
And
it
and we're
is.
trying to,
It is.
and I can see you're trying to, like, oh, maybe that might be too advanced already
Yeah,
for this
yeah, it is.
video.
It is. So I keep it basic,
But
right? I
but
keep it
what
basic. Yeah.
Gia, if I can, Gia was talking about the 800 with euros, but I don't know what the conversion of euros to dollars is.
Yeah.
But as we talk about tools, there's like a wide range, a very wide range. You can get some beginning scissors Okay, and first of all, if we say scissors or shears, they mean the same thing. For those that are going to go on here and say, like, well, professionally they're called shears, let's just call it scissors for all intents and purposes. Right? And they can range from $25 up to like a couple $1,000, depending on how well you want them made and what kind of steel you want used. So the price ranges on all the tools can vary a lot, right? So we'll talk about like the tools, not necessarily the brands. Um, because there are a lot of brands out there, but generally they're all making something a very similar design to another brand, right? Um, so sorry to cut you off,
No,
brother,
no, no,
but
no.
go
It's
ahead.
okay.
Yeah,
No, but for the beginners, I always say like 6 to 6.5 inch scissor. Got
yeah,
them over here.
hmm yeah,
This is scissor. This is a yeah. This is a 6.5. It's
hmm
pretty neat.
yeah.
You can do
About the same.
everything with it.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
that's
6.5 too. Yeah,
yeah. You can cut it like this. You can cut it like this. You can cut it like this. Whatever.
yeah.
I think that's the best kind of type of
And it
all round scissor
And
there.
you want to touch on why this is the reason well, when I started, they said like the 6.5 is good for the amount of coverage that the
Yeah,
blades can do per cut,
yeah,
right? So,
exactly. Yeah,
you can get scissors that are probably half the size,
yeah,
which means you have to do twice as much work with that shorter scissor than you can with this than with the 6.5.
exactly.
So the goal of the 6.5, typically for barbering, if you're doing a lot of what they call a technique of shear over comb or comb and just doing it manually
Yeah.
versus the machine, is that you're more efficient in the movements that you're doing with a longer blade, right? So,
The
yeah,
thing also is what a lot of people don't know. You cut. A lot of people cut with the point, so the pressure
yeah,
is here on the point, right?
mm,
For the hair,
yeah,
but if the scissor is dull, it's most of the time here in the
yeah,
point. But
mm,
um, I learned that the guys from me a little bit different.
hmm
I don't want them to cut with the point.
yeah, yeah,
Because you have a whole blade and
yeah,
you should cut with the whole
yeah,
blade. Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah,
got more surface and
yeah,
your lines are getting straighter. But
yeah,
that's another topic where we're gonna talk
yeah.
about.
Yeah, and so like the cost of something like a 6.5, like we talk about different costs, you could find like a basic scissor online somewhere for the cost of like $30 even,
Yeah.
right? But like it goes again the saying of you get what you pay for, and this is where the different price ranges come and some of the tools that you buy is that, the more you spend, you're looking at the better quality sometimes, not necessarily true when it gets into like the thousands or stuff. That can sometimes be the brand that you're purchasing. But you do look at the quality of the steel, and to get a better quality of steel, and you are going to pay a little bit more. But using something in the $20 or $30 range, which is what I used when I first started, and even in my collection of scissors that I have, there was one that I paid $30 for, and that was my go-to every day. So um, price is should be something you should be concerned about spending more. The better that you get at using the tool, the fundamental, like the tool, right? So
Yeah, most of the
yeah,
times I give my guys about the $150 range. Yeah,
mm,
because they are
mm,
most of the time okay, and the
yeah,
way you
yeah,
can use a couple of years for that so you don't have to change them.
yeah, yeah,
Because then you got a medium yoker kind of scissor, but it's good enough
yeah,
to survive. I
yeah,
think that's a good range.
yeah.
Um, for purpose of
Now
cutting.
how
Sorry.
how for now 6.5 is that's not the longest shear that you can get, right? It's the recommended length in terms
Yeah.
for barbering.
Well, I got an eight.
Um,
I got an 8 inch as well.
Yeah, yeah. So you can also go up
Uh,
as
uh,
as much as 8, right? So you can kind of see the difference in hopefully you kind of see the difference in blade length here if I hold my hand steady. Yeah.
yeah,
So
man.
again, you're talking about coverage. You can get a lot more coverage with 8, but we don't recommend if you're starting off, if you never really used them,
No.
master the use of something around the 6 to 6.5 before you move on to the longer lengths.
Exactly. Because the thing is,
Yeah.
if you use a 6.5, right, like this one,
Yeah.
or maybe a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you need to go over the ears and you got an
Yeah.
8,
Yeah.
if you cut and you not concentrated, you cut off the ear,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you gotta watch out for that one, man. You know, this is why it's nice to
Your
have
hair
a
is
small.
gonna be a little bit cheaper today, sir. Just knock off a couple dollars.
Yeah. So what is important to have in your ear? What I use, of course, 6.5. Normal cutting scissor. I
Yeah.
have a blending scissor. A lot of people call this a thinning scissor. I don't like to
Yeah.
call this a thinning scissor, but I
Yeah.
see a lot of people online, treat it as a thinning scissor, but
Yeah.
it's not actually the purpose of that scissor.
Yeah.
There's some tips and tricks, where we cover that later video
Yeah.
up and up techniques as well. For the guys
Yeah.
that think like, hey man, the tutorial coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that,
We'll have some of
but
those. We'll have some of those.
we'll add some of those.
Yeah.
And I also have a little blending scissor. These got less teeth, and
Yeah.
here's a secret for you guys. The more teeth a blending scissor has, the less hair it takes off. Yeah. So the more teeth blending scissor has, the less hair it takes off. So if you got this, see, I think it got 20 teeth. It takes out a lot of hair. Probably it would take off like 60% of a hair, when you wanna scrape things out or blend things. So you gotta bear in mind, that's a lot. So if you make make a mistake, there probably be holes in the area. What else we got? I got like my go-to is the super taper.
Yeah, the super taper.
Yeah, it's from WoW. Got a taper blade.
Yep.
And I got
and this one we used more. This clipper, the one you typically would have with a lever on the side, right? This is what we typically refer to as like your blending, fading clipper. This one does the majority of your detail fading work when you're doing your fades and.
Because you use detachables, right? We don't use them a lot here in Holland. You know why?
Okay.
Because our how do you say that? Our plugs are different as in the States.
Oh.
We got voltage, and we have to use converters to use those, and most of the times they blow up because there's too much volts in it. And the converter don't handle that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So most of the time, we have what we have here is we do have super taper. That's that's with a taper blade. Where you can scoop a lot. And I have like a fade blade, so it got like a flat blade. And that's what you use for blending out the scissors. So the super taper, I always use, like you use your detachable. Can do
so this would be, and what he's referring to is detachable is what we have here in generally you'll have something like this, which is your workhorse clipper for us here. This does the majority of the bulk removal. Bulk being like you want to take down a lot of hair quick. And it has blades of different variations of length that it'll remove or leave on. And it just allows us to change it in and out. So,
And the last thing I use the detailer. I have like a little trimmer, I think those three are my main things for my
Yeah,
machines, and
yeah,
I will show you guys, when I'm in the shop, that I got
yeah,
tons of machines, but
yeah, yeah.
I can
And you
explain
do,
why.
you will accumulate. Yeah, you'll accumulate a lot over your career because again, with technology, like these brands and these clipper companies are coming out with newer versions of older models, right? So if you're the guys in my shop, they're really into trying out the new ones, right? So they'll invest in new tools to try them out to see if they're any different. And then me, I just buy the old ones off of them when they're done. Well, let me get that one you're not using it anymore.
Yeah, give it, man. Yeah, but that's the thing,
Give it
right?
to the old man. I'm broke, man. Give it to me. So you'll learn that some, for me, I don't change mine out very often because like it takes me a while to actually master, well, not even master, but really get comfortable using the tools that I'm already using now, right? So that they become an extension of my arm and of myself. So I know what angles I use. And so to change out another machine, it may feel different in my hand, or it may weigh a little bit differently, or the lever is not as smooth on the side. And so like that starts messing with my head a little bit, right? So I like to keep things as standard as I can so that I'm focusing. My focus on the haircut is pretty much muscle memory, right? So,
So for me, like this super taper, this is a cordless one,
yeah.
but I used a normal super taper 10 and 15 years that was with a cord,
Mhm. Yeah.
but I refuse to go to a cordless. They just started to
Yeah.
do the cordless after so many years, but I knew that
Yeah.
super taper from inside out. I could
Yeah. Yeah.
screw
Yeah.
that thing in 5 minutes and
Yeah.
put things back together in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I knew how it sound, and I knew,
Yeah.
yeah, because you got a screw inside and this and that. I could do everything with it. I intend to want to know my stuff before I move to the other one, because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to fall back into my basic
Yeah.
separate. Always need to
Yeah.
fall back on your basics.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my go-to, and I can use it with everything, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blade doesn't work, I always go back to my super tape, because I know, hey man, I can do this and I can do that and this and that,
Yeah.
or I can
Yeah.
adjust some things, so it looks tighter.
Yeah.
But before you
Yeah.
go that way, just clip her off the hair, man, and just
Yeah.
enjoy just cutting hair. Don't think
Yeah.
about too much of, hey man, I need to zero
Yeah.
gap it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Man, you don't
Yeah.
need that, man. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you should be pretty proficient in doing a haircut with the tools that come straight out of the
Yeah.
box as they are without adjusting anything. You should be able to be proficient at doing a haircut with what you have. And in barber school, we used to always tease one of the instructors. He used to always say like, he actually took my saying, but I was saying like, if you're a barber seal instead of a Navy SEAL, if you're a barber seal, all you really need is like a spork, like a fork and a spoon in one, and like a butter knife, and you can do a haircut,
Yeah, man.
or
Yeah.
or even just some household scissors you should be able to do a haircut with. And so like that, in principle, in theory, like you should be able to do it with something just as basic as any regular pair of scissors you find around the house, right? And then as you you get into like, okay, now that I know what this can do, I know the cause and effect if I use this tool or that tool, and I know it pretty well inside out. If there's a newer version of this, or a company's made a similar product, but it's supposed to be better, they promote it as being better, then I can try it and I can actually see for myself if it is or isn't, so
And the thing is, it's like a lot of people rely on the machines, but
yeah.
truth is, I rely on this, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is,
Yeah.
what would happen if the shop has no electricity? A lot of
Yeah.
people cannot cut hair, man. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Yeah. That's true.
I need to continue with my work, so I also need to know how to do scissor over comb. I need to do clipper over comb. I need to do with detachables. I need to do with clipper guards or whatever. I need to know everything. But
Yeah.
if you want to start at the basic, what I've learned and what I think has an advantage, because I went to a hairdresser school, is I
Yeah.
learned everything with my scissor before I went
Yeah.
to a machine.
Yeah.
So I did my exams without a machine, and
Yeah.
it wasn't even possible because I would be out of the exams, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think like what a lot of people should think about is like you got a couple of tools, and you need to master them all. It's hard to
Yeah.
master a lot of things, but you can do your best as at that point. And if you don't know further, then you start doing like courses or call somebody or app somebody like, hey man, can you help me?
Yeah.
Because there will be like a certain level where you start like, man, I'm not getting better, or I'm staggering or anything like that. That means you are like on a level, where the waves to go up is really minimal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you can check out, different scissors, or different machines or anything like that. But a lot of things is also knowledge, because
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to know what you do. And
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You can't go. There's some people that I've worked alongside with that they say they cut by feel, right? They don't actually have a strategy when cutting.
yeah,
So they'll start with one tool, put that down, grab another tool, start doing something on the same side, and then they'll jump another
yeah,
side.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
often, and they're I guess in some cases there you can be. I mean, I'm more of a process person, right? Like I cut
yeah.
by process, I work by process. Everything I do has a process, right? So even in my tools, it came down to like I need to do and figure out how to use this one to the best that I can, because if I do something else, I'm not going to understand it properly, right? And so,
Yeah.
um, I think once you master down, like yeah, I'm definitely more of a scissor and comb barber than I am like a clipper barber most of the time. Like I feel more comfortable doing haircuts, a whole entire haircut sometimes with just my comb and my scissors, right? And when I worked for a company, one of these product companies that does the hair shows and I was one of on their education team. Their focus was to actually minimize the amount of tools that you used as an educator, right? So they gave you was your 6.5 shears. They gave you your detachable blade clipper, the one that we use here, which you can take the blades off. But they only allowed you to use two blades on here,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and there was no fading clipper. No, there was no blending shears. So they wanted to, as I understood it, their design behind their education program was to take it back to how barbering
Got it.
was
Yeah.
in the beginning, right? Yeah. So to be very disciplined in how you use your scissors and understand why, right? And to have just two blades to cut with on this clipper and know the cause and effect of how to go from short to long, or how to make an entire haircut with just those. So over my barbering career, I've sort of just tried to narrow it down to just using those basic tools in the shop, even, right? So and then once you get to that point, I find that even some of the tools that I've had from barber school, the clippers I had from barber school, they do the job. They do just fine. Yeah.
You know, if you're a good barber, you can
Yeah.
use anything. I mean,
Yeah.
like I use a kitchen scissor one day,
Yeah.
cut my
Yeah.
brother or anything because we
Yeah.
didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
For me, it's the man that does the work. Of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
course, having good tools
Yeah.
mandatory, but it's you
Yeah.
that do the job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's many ways to roam. We already said times,
Yeah.
but have to choose the right one.
Yeah.
Can use a shorter route or
Yeah.
longer route, as long as the
Yeah.
job gets done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Customer is happy with. Oh, good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for the
And we talked to, yeah. Well, I was just saying that, like we talked in the the past episodes too about like staying in your own lane and how easy it is to be influenced, right? And so like if you're new to the trade and you have social media or you're in a shop, it's easy to be influenced to see like, well, this barber that I aspire to be like uses this tool and I need to get that tool now. Or now they've got their own line of tools, so I need to get their full line of tools. And so you end up spending money that you don't have. You haven't even started making money yet as an apprentice, let alone as a new barber, and you're investing a lot already. So I say invest as you grow, right? You start making a little bit more money, then you can upgrade your tools as you go along. Get a new pair of scissors to reward yourself that are better quality of the one you started with, or get a better clipper. If you started off with using a secondhand clipper that somebody gave you and you want to get something for yourself, then yeah, spend the money that way.
So I always know when I buy scissors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Not straight.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of people I be wrists. I have something with wrists. So
Yeah.
if I have a straight scissor or a shear,
Yeah.
um, my wrist is hurting. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have that. So this is why I
Mm-hmm.
got a little bit of a bow in it.
Yeah.
So my wrist is still relaxed. Cause if I have a straight
Yeah.
scissor, my wrist needs to bend. This muscle
Mm-hmm.
here is really getting irritated, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not good for my wrist. So that's
Yeah.
the only thing where I always look for the only
Yeah.
time where I don't have it, it's my blending scissor, but I have my
Mm-hmm.
technique with that.
Yeah.
But if you see in my smaller, I also have it, but
Yeah.
this is my all-time favorite. I mean, like, I have that for several years, and I sharpen it sometimes, and the rest I
Yeah, you
always do
take
it.
care of it,
Yeah, I
right?
take care of
You
it.
put, put the oil on it,
Yeah, man.
clean them, have them sharpened,
Yeah, man.
they should last you. And even with your clippers, you clean them
Yeah,
out, you take care of them, put their oil.
exactly.
They have like blade cleaner, you can clean the
Yeah,
blades,
and
take
even
them apart,
and
get the hair
even
out of them.
and even just if you don't got nothing to do, just take everything out of it. Just
Yeah.
release the clipper, the clipper, how do you say it? The blades, untie them.
Hmm.
Just see how the inside looks.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if you have a
Yeah.
spare one, get to know
Yeah.
your material, right? Because
Yeah.
then you can see how it is built up and how it works,
Yeah.
and you can explain and can uh, can teach yourself that. There's a lot
Yeah.
of YouTube people, that also explain. I know one guy, Larry the Barber. He's an English dude.
Yeah.
He explains a lot about clippers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, haven't seen
Yeah,
him
it's
in.
good to have a basic understanding of them so
Yeah.
that you do know the care, taking care of the stuff, like, and I'm one to admit I'm not mechanically inclined,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one that can take something apart and put it back together without having like one extra piece and not and not knowing where the last piece was supposed to go, you know. But like even in then, like I'll ask even the guys in my shop, guys on my
Yeah,
team
man.
that they use this. As long as you've got some way of taking care of it, don't just uh, neglect if one thing you feel is broken and then put it aside and get a new one, because it could be just something minor that just needs to be cleaned or
Exactly,
something that could
man.
be changed.
Exactly.
You
That's the
know?
same with your scissor, man. Always clean
Yeah,
out your scissors. Sometimes you think like, hey, man, there's like it's dull, but
yeah,
sometimes it's just dirt, that's underneath
yeah,
it. So you can
yeah,
untie the screws, and you
yeah,
can oil them, put them in barbicide,
yeah, yeah,
and disinfect them, and everything is
yeah,
cool.
yeah, man.
But I think the main advice for the beginners is start
Yeah,
easy. Start with a low
yeah.
range, kind of mid range.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just take one or
yeah,
two go-to clips.
yeah,
Clippers where you can learn everything on it, get to know them, and one trimmer. The rest will come
yeah,
by itself. But you have to
yeah,
have the experience hours know what you do, and find
Yeah.
people that got systems that works for you.
Yeah.
Got your colleagues,
Yeah.
got a lot of people that
Yeah.
do thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a good mentor. Find a good mentor that can help.
And
You know.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good advice for
Yeah.
next video. Will be probably some tutorials, where we explain why we use it, and
Yeah.
how we use
Yeah. Yeah.
it. Thank you a lot,
So
man.
I got the summary. I got the summary in like a real short summary.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know what it is? Don't don't be a hype beast. Don't go.
Yeah, man, but that's
Don't be a hype beast, man. Don't go out and buy everything just because it's shinier and newer, and you don't even know how to use the old stuff, man. You know, learn how to use the basic stuff. So,
a lot, bro.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you, brother. I'm looking forward to your tutorials so I can learn some stuff too.
I think a lot of people are asking.
Stay tuned, everybody. Yeah, more stuff to come.
Come.